Now we know that heroin addiction is on the rise, and you made Molly, one of the characters in central character
Yeah.
really, a heroin addict.
Hmm.
How did that come about, and how does that relate to an experience that you have had?
Well, I wanted to bring out the fact that addiction is just all over the place, all over the country. There's so many addicts, it's 13% of the population, and that there is hope. There is
Hmm.
hope. It's not a death sentence, and you can get better, as Molly did in the book.
Hmm.
Um, I can relate to it because I was myself in my early 20s. I had an addiction, and it wasn't quite as extensive as Molly's,
Hmm.
but indeed it was, and I did get help and I did get better.
Hmm.
So I wanted to bring that out. Plus, I wanted, to have, the readers say, oh my God, what's going to happen to her next? And
Hmm.
really, build it up and build up her character to the point where her addiction gets so bad you just want to strangle her. You want to reach in and go, what are you doing with your life? You're a beautiful young woman, and you're doing this and that, and you're becoming a prostitute because of it, and, get a grip. But I show in 2 weeks since my last confession that it is an addiction.
Hmm.
It is an illness.
Oh, it is.
And so you have to really look at it like that, get her some help. And they didn't have the help back then like they have now in the 21st century as they did back then. But this
Heroin
certainly
addiction is
helped.
a pretty strong addiction in
Yeah.
terms of the realm of drugs and things you can become addicted to. Um, is
Some get better, some don't.
hmm
But there is hope. Yeah.
any conjecture on your part as why Molly chose heroin, or was that the end of a series of
She
addictions?
was in a lot of pain. Well, first of all, no matter what happened to her in her life, and this goes for most addicts,
Hmm.
that they're going to use no matter what. They're going to use something,
Right.
whether or not they had anything bad happen to them in their lives. But she started out with a very strict mother, a mother that really didn't want to have her. She just had more kids because the Catholic Church would not let her practice birth control. So
Hmm.
she had Molly and her youngest sister when Mrs. O'Brien really didn't want them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so she was kind of torn.
Well, addiction is always an avoidance mechanism, whether it's
Mhm.
avoiding hurt or pain
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
something. Um, is there anything that we can do to prevent addiction, do you think?
Well, once again,
Or
it's
are we always going to be faced with treating it after it's been exposed?
well, yeah. No, I think you can once again get to the high risk kids. Kids that families are kind of dysfunctional. And once again, you find that out that in the school system or sports teams or just your neighbor next door try to help out.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of agencies that can help, and churches as well. They can
Hmm.
help out with that. In Molly's case with her addiction, though, she went from a strict family, Catholic family, and then she had a boyfriend who blew her off when she got pregnant. And then all this time she's remembering of being abused, sexually abused. So all of that combination of things
And they're always.
drove her to alcohol first. She always smoked pot. And
Hmm.
then she took Secanols, which is a sleeping pill, and then all of a sudden heroin. So she kind of went the route of drug addiction.
Hmm. But she was able to come out of it.
Yes,
She was able to
she
come out.
was, yeah.
Good, wonderful. Now, her boyfriend Sean, he served in Vietnam.
That's her brother, yeah, Sean.
Okay, and how did that affect him? His time in Vietnam.
Well, I don't think it affected him like you hear of PTSD.
Hmm.
Um, he had flashbacks himself because he was actually abused when he was a younger kid himself and didn't realize what all that was all about. He was having these little puzzle pieces of different things happening. I don't want to give away too much so
Hmm.
that people that want to read the book, but it just shows what can happen in the steps leading to the realization of being abused. So he had that going on a little bit. But the war, I believe, for Sean made him stronger. It made him uh, face up to his own demons and become socially active and realizing he was against the war and he wanted to fight it. And it helped him go on to school and be a lawyer.
So he found his own character.
He found his own. his own way. Yeah.
I need to ask you: is there and with all these threads going on and all these problems throughout the characters in the story, we come to a happy resolution of some sort?
It's a very happy ending.
Okay.
But it just takes some time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the book a lot like, did you read the book or see the movie We Were the Mulvaneys?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's by Joyce Carol Oates, and it's similar to that in a lot of ways. You know, it's a family, it's life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard a few of emails I've gotten from people that have read the book said, "Oh my God, the story reminds me of my neighbors. They had families that were very much like this, and there was sexual abuse going on, and it's really amazing."
Now, Molly became pregnant through her boyfriend, and she decided to. She didn't choose abortion. Why do you think that was?
Well,
That would have
first
made
of
life a
all,
lot simpler for
it
her,
would
wouldn't
have, but it would have changed the outcome of the book.
it? Oh.
But uh, you know, abortion wasn't legal. That
Mm-hmm.
was like 1968, so it wasn't legal in Massachusetts. She would have had to find somewhere to go, which wasn't as easy. But to be honest with you, it didn't enter her consciousness to do that. It was not so much her Catholic upbringing, but moral obligation. Plus, she loved her boyfriend, Bobby, and he was on his way to be a big baseball star. So she kept in her mind, her little mind, that they'd
Mm-hmm.
just get married.
How did she then feel when her parents urged her to put the baby up for adoption?
Well, it wasn't even urging, they made her.
Oh.
They forced her to
Mm-hmm.
give the baby up, and she was very angry. She was full of anger and bitterness, and to be honest with you, she probably would have been a good mother.
Mm-hmm.
She probably would have followed the steps and been a good mother, but she didn't have the chance of that, and that really led to her demise and the addiction.
So we go from one conflict or one problem
Yeah,
to another. It's a
yeah,
whole series of problems we
yeah.
have here. Now, teenage pregnancy is on the rise, and let's say 5% of the teenage population is getting pregnant.
Hmm.
And do we know why so many girls are becoming pregnant these days?
Well, studies have shown that, you know, girls want some control over their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And these girls, they don't have control in their homes for some reason. They're not close with their parents, or their parents are overwhelming. This is one way of getting control over their boyfriends. This is one thing that they can do if they want to. Plus, they don't realize that it's so difficult, that a baby is there forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think their self-esteems are low. You know, and a baby will bring love, unconditional love. So they're looking at more just at the situation and not projecting into the future at all.
So they're saying the situation of pregnancy and giving birth is helping them solve their problems.
Mm-hmm. They just
Without,
don't realize how difficult it is.
right, because there are problems created
Mm-hmm.
as a result of this.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. But, you know, it's almost like it's common now to hear of teenage pregnancies and them keeping the children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not hidden like in my day, you know, when I graduated in 1969. I think we had one girl that was pregnant.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you think more girls are becoming pregnant intentionally today, or is it an accidental byproduct?
Oh, I think it's intentional.
Oh, really? Okay.
I do. I don't know the statistics on that. But, I mean, there's too much birth control available.
I was
Like,
going
why
to say.
wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
they use that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.